A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. While my father said, "Make the music louder."
Oh! Ah!
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
要は結婚式
She
の
never
時
talked
に
about him, but Mom told me
天候
once
が
if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
へえ天候が荒れて吹っ飛んだテントにぶち当たって亡くなったってことか。パラパラ漫画アクション。すっごい分厚いんですけどこのパラパラ漫画。なんだ絵の世界に消えたと。
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
なんだこれすごく不思議だな。
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to... I asked him to describe it. But he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Nothing moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. I knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. Even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. but his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished.
すごい兵隊さんが
He held an election for mayor,
選挙
and he won.
マリオじゃんそれ
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
ちょっとお魚さんすげえ邪魔になるなこれ
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. He started drifting away from our reality. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery.
はぁ帰宅するのを忘
Even
れま
as
し
his
た
mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on. He heard rumors of a
美しいお威厳のある女王のこと
handsome queen. Queen was on her own quest for
自ら冒険へ出かけ光り輝く虹を探している
radiant rainbows. He followed the sound of her
音を追い銀のハープをたどっ
silver harp, him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon.
た黄金の宮殿
Even then, his logic remained sound.
もう魚切るところさえわからん
He knew the world was all in his
すっごい
imagination.
来たすっごい来たちょっと
But he was so
お魚さん
proud
シュ
of
ールよ
having created it. In his own eyes,
あんなもん嫌
he'd
でしょ
become something greater than a king.
国王以上
Never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. That the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
なるほど空想世界の自分が本当の自分だと
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
これはお魚の工場だよね
He began to forget the world we know.
忘れ始めました
I
なん
think
か
it
ゴ
pained
ミ
him
み
to
たいに
remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
あれがルイスか
Despised the man with a royal contempt.
本当の自分を軽蔑するよう
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
な魚の上にこんなものがある
Wise Calico had insisted on inviting him.
懸命なのあモリーだ
His queen waited, holding his crown. Bend down his head.
ギロチンだよこれ
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
ギロチンじゃないさっきの魚を切るところに頭入れたんだ
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
To our final night together, and all our final nights apart.
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
That thing you're you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight.
Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out.
なんだろう、すごいクライ
It
マック
was
ス
the
に近づいてる
first
感じが
and
するね。
last time I ever saw the old house aground.
あ、あの家に行けるのか。
There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean.
なるほどな。
They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful.
多
You
分ヘ
know,
ドロの匂いだろう。
I've seen that house every day of my life. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
着いた。
It's mine.
Edith!
電気が。
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go.
離して母さ
I
ん。
kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great Grandma Edie again.
ひいおばあちゃん。
The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone.
へえ。
My mom didn't like to talk about it,
てか文字
but
でできて
she
るんだ
started
これ。
getting sick a lot.
へくへく。
The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this.
Oh.
If we lived
お腹の
forever,
中にいる子
maybe
供
we'd have
か。
time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you,
子供のた
but
め
now
に
I
残
hope
した
you'll
のか
never。see it.
見つけてほしいとは思わない。
I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
ああ、そういうことだよ。本当の最後の生き残りはエリスじゃなくてその子供になったってことだ。フィンチ家の奇妙な屋敷で起きたこと、こちらのゲームは以上となります。で、いろいろね、こうトロフィー解除とかもあるらしいんですけど、このゲームの楽しみ方としては、私は今回でこのゲームはこれ以上は触りませんので、ぜひね、気になった方は、プレイされることをおすすめいたします。よく簡潔に持っていったなって思いました、このゲームを。あんだけ不思議なことが起きたのによくまあ終わらせたなっていうね、それすげえなって思いました。そこに今ちょっと感動してますね。はい、ということで、ご視聴ありがとうございました。よければチャンネル登録高評価お願いいたします。また次回別のゲームでお会いいたしましょう。バイバーイ。